Can I talk about my Spider-Man tattoo?
Yeah, you can.
So I got this pretty sweet Spider-Man tattoo from the back of a candy sticks packet.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, society is pretty great so far.
So education. I think I agree with Michael that education should be something that's fun. I think the teachers especially, they should get paid more. The perfect society would have an importance of education. And so the people that are doing it should get paid more so they're more interested in it. But they should also obviously have the interest in teaching the future generation. But yeah, I guess coursework. More like, I don't know, like a whole education reform would probably be better. I think there should be no set lessons. I think everything should be sort of taught as one like intermingling thing because like there's a lot of crossover in subjects. So if you have like a sort of focus for a lesson, but you can bring in everything else. Because I mean obviously you can have English and science still being taught at the same time, but like the humanities-based subjects and science-based subjects you could sort of teach as one like big thing.
Yeah, I quite like that. But how would you deal with having like specialised teachers? Because it's quite hard to specialise in humanities. It's a really poor
Yeah.
sort of thing.
I mean you could have like seminars kind of. But like if you had like several teachers, I think if people had more of a more, like this is like younger, if you have like a more generalised based education, because that's how you learn usually, is that you learn from the world around you. So if you are in an environment where you're talking about lots of things and how they're connected, it doesn't seem quite as separate.
Okay.
But then as you progress throughout, you specialise in things that you're interested in, I think. And I think university should be free. That's a big thing on education. All education should be free because it will be of paramount importance.
What do you think, Ed?
I think that education should be more targeted earlier on, like specialising in what you want to. I know obviously you're not going to know exactly what you're going to want to do early on, but say like after about like year 8 or 9 doing English, you're going to know if you're like interested in that or not. And say like analysing a book is not going to be of much use to a lot of people. So I think obviously like basic English skills, like learning how to use sentences, write stuff, all that kind of stuff, like you need it up till like 8 or 9 or something. But then after that, when you're like analysing books, you learn about all that kind of stuff, it's not really going to be any help to a lot of people. So all, like, you know, there's like lunchtime sessions kind of thing, so like you could, in between lessons stuff, yeah, you can go in, you can learn about it, and then if you want to actually commit to doing that, then you can take up an actual course in it. In fact, that would be quite like at the beginning of the year, say like at the beginning of college or the beginning of GCSE, when you pick specialising subjects, maybe you get like a few weeks or a month at the beginning, where you can just go, you haven't got a set timetable, it tells you when different lessons are, and you have to go a certain amount, obviously, you can't just not come in, but, so you can just drop into different lessons without actually committing to them, and then realising you've made a mistake and you don't actually like the subject. Yeah, I think, yeah, because well, exams obviously, most of it is really just how well you can remember stuff, it's not even necessarily how well you understand it, especially at GCSE, like I know that there was a lot of stuff I didn't understand, but I just wrote down what was on the board, and then just copied that when I did the exam, which obviously meant I didn't really learn anything. I just had to copy what the teacher had written on the board, and then, so it's more about what you can remember, but not actually what you understand of it, which isn't really going to help anyone, because it's not going to be actually applicable to real life situations. Oh, I think it's, you know, it's a pretty cool design,
Yeah.
you know. And this old man comes up and he's like, bees aren't cool at all. And I was like, bitch, what are you talking about bees? They're, you know, buzzing around, making honey. I think, well, there'll be benefits of, I think, yeah, free market is,
It's definitely better.
yeah, so it's going to be more quality regulation, more like safety probably, if there wasn't a free market. But yeah, I think that overall free market is definitely going to be the better option.
I think the market should be more focused on the product and the people rather than profit. There would be some profit, but I think it should be focused more on what's being sold and the effect it has on other people. I think the perfect society would be more people based, like more people orientated.
Can we do that again for the camera?
Yeah,
No,
Fig roll, wang me a fig roll.
So
I've always wanted to be hit by a fig roll in 60 FPS.
I definitely think that
Okay.
everything should be to benefit the human race. I mean, the human race as a whole is more orientated on being selfish and selfish means. But in the perfect society, everyone would still be equal. No, I think they should have equal opportunities.
okay.
I think we should still have a system where you work for the money you earn.
Mm-hmm. So meritocracy.
Yes, but with slight changes, like doctors, nurses, teachers, people that actually help should get more money than, say, celebrities who just talk on camera.
Yeah, but to be honest, like, with, say, celebrities, as much as I don't think, say, like, what they're doing is going to earn, it should be, like, they deserve money necessarily. If there's no way you can stop it, because if people want to see them, people are going to, like, sponsor and want to advertise with them. If people want to watch them, then they're going to get more money. so you can't really do anything about it.
I guess, unless you tax the shit out of them.
Yeah, that's true. But how would you define a celebrity? Like, maybe like on Twitter photos, maybe. Just rubbing my leg there.
Sure.
You have a boyfriend. What's happening right now?
No. I think prison should still be a thing, but I think prison should be more of a punishment than they are now. You're sort of guaranteed, you got 3 meals a day, you can go to school, you get everything provided for you.
Yeah, for some people it's actually easier to be in prison.
Yeah, it's easy, and then they just live on off the government for doing something bad.Ey're not necessarily punished.
But then how would you change that? Like, just not feed them?
Well, not feed them, but like make them work. No, I'm pro drugs. I think drugs would be better if they were fully regulated, because obviously that increases the quality, but also they can be taxed.
Is that all drugs?
Those that don't necessarily have a crippling effect, so like weed, magic mushrooms, to a certain extent cocaine, stuff like that.
The things that don't completely take over a person's life.
Yeah, and other drugs like heroin, I think maybe we should just leave that. As long as there aren't too many adverse effects to the drugs, I think it'll be fine. Because I mean, like tobacco and alcohol are some of the biggest killers. Not necessarily a criminal offence to use them, but more something that should be dealt with as a problem. So like, people should be sent to rehab, take measures to prevent it from happening and to rehabilitate them into society.
I think the drugs shouldn't be all categorised as just the term drugs. As in like, say you're grouping something like weed, that's like, you can't physically die from it, with something like meth, when you're just, people just grouping that together, like both legally and socially. So say, the way people view them, instead of just saying like, drugs, it's all bad, like maybe look at them individually as what they actually are, instead of just saying like, just drugs as one like group term. Yeah, like I think they should actually take a step back and look at the actual effects, and look at what the actual drugs are. And then say, yeah, like something like the fact that, say, alcohol killing the amount of people it does per year being legal. Like, I think alcohol should be legal, because if someone wants to use it, that's their choice, obviously. But in the same way, I think that, say, weed should be legal, like magic mushrooms, LSD, something like that. Just because, like, if it's not hurting anyone and it's not really hurting them, I don't see why there should actually be any legal consequences to using it. Yeah, I think so. In terms of physical health risks of using drugs, stuff like mushrooms or LSD, in their pure form, they're not going to have any actual health risks physically. But say, if you're just people buying them on the street and stuff, they might be cut with, they might have other things in them, or with mushrooms they might be the wrong variety or something, which could lead to health risks. So if it was regulated by the government, if it was legal, then you're going to know you're buying it from like an official place, then it's almost certainly going to be safe. And also in terms of, because some drugs might trigger underlying health problems that already exist in the person, maybe they don't know about it. Maybe you could have a system where you might, maybe not necessarily a license, but maybe to be able to buy drugs, you'd have to maybe test it for that kind of thing. I don't know all things you would be able to test for, but some things like that, maybe you get tested and then you have the ability to buy those things so that you know it's going to be safe.
You could test general mental health.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're going to have like mental problems that might be triggered by these things, then obviously you wouldn't want to use them. But if you get tested and you know it's not going to be 100% safe, it's going to be a lot safer knowing that you're going to be mentally safe using it.
Yeah, but I think porn there needs to be a distinction between like real sex and porn.
It should be like a disclaimer at the beginning.
Oh yeah, because people really pay attention to disclaimers if they're about to not quite out. Like not so much discouraged, because then that puts to be on it, and then more people are going to want to watch it. But I think it should be. I think the importance of it being like fiction, like something that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, but I mean, it might. If people want to do those things, it's not going to necessarily hurt anyone. So I mean, well, it depends what the things are, doesn't it? But
oh yeah,
if
safe
people
practice,
want to
that's
have fun
fine.
with it, then go for it.
A lot of young people watch porn. I mean, obviously not us,
No.
because we're good little chilly wings.
That as well.
So because a lot of young people are presented with porn, I think they get an unrealistic representation of what sex is and what it should be.
I think that it's more to do with education, like having more extensive sex education.
Yes, that is definitely something. Going back to the education, I think sex education is very important. Education with real life applications as well, like how to do taxes and shit. Abortion.
Yes.
I agree with abortion. Same-sex marriage.
Yes.
Same-sex marriage, I completely agree with. I don't think there should, I think you should be able to marry whatever human you want. Legalised prostitution?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it should be legalised, regularised. Sex is a good thing. Why not profit from it?
Should paedophilia be as accepted as homosexuality? Sounds like a good quickfire question, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not as a quickfire question, but because I mean, obviously no one's gonna say like, yeah, I think it should just be accepted and people should be able to do what they want with kids. But like, yeah, sorry. But if it is just, oh, it's on me now. If it is just like it's a mental people can't really help. If people have got that, they can't really help it. So, as much as I don't think they should be able to do those things, I don't think they should be like punished for like having those thoughts. Yeah, because I mean, if that's just how they are, they've been born like that, whatever, then they can't really do anything about it.
I don't think it's alright to have the thoughts as long as you don't act on them.
I'm Michael from Wire Productions. Thanks for watching What Teens Think. Please leave any feedback you may have down in the comments. Check out our other videos and come back next time. Sometime when we make the next video. Bye.
We are chiddlywinks.
Yeah.
You just said.
Chiddlywinks, yeah.
Is that a word you just made up or?
No, I've heard it before.
I've never heard that
Chiddlywinks.
word
It
before.
means children.